Welcome everybody to our session on financing digital transition. My name is Pavel Kapstorfer and I am Network and Partnership Manager of Microfinance Centre, and I will moderate these sessions with our distinguished guests. Let me welcome our speakers, Amra Omeragic from Finance in Motion. As we probably most of you know, Finance in Motion is leading impact asset manager, and Amra is going to tell us how uh, Finance in Motion and also one of their impact funds, European funds for Southeast Europe, supports digitalization. Then in our panel, we have also Andrei Dogaru, head of product from Filbo, the company which is registered trademark of Omro, a non-banking financial institution from Romania, which has a very rich 30 years history serving more than 10,000 small entrepreneurs in Romania. And in 2020, they managed to launch digital platform Filbo. So we will talk about how the whole process and of the digitalization in both cases is supported, managed. First, before we kick off with the presentations, I would like to say that this session is supported by SIFTA program, and for those who are not aware, the SIFTA program is a continuation and enhancement of EU program for employment and social innovation, a technical assistance program, and it is managed by European Investment Bank and financed by European Union. It provides targeted capacity building, project advisory, and market development support to financial intermediaries active in microfinance and social entrepreneurship sectors. Eligibility of this program is for EU 27 member countries, and the beneficiaries are microfinance providers such as banks or non-bank, microfinance institutions, social enterprise finance providers such as investment funds, impact investors, incubators, accelerators, and this program is going to support social enterprises. So that would be about Social Inclusion Finance Technical Assistance Program. And now I give a floor to Amra Omeragic to share her presentation and give us a heads up how Finance in Motion supports digitalization processes.
Thank you, Pavel. I'm really happy to be here and to be able to share our experience on how Finance in Motion, but also the fund, European Fund for Southeast Europe, is empowering microfinance institutions towards digital transformation and growth. So my presentation today will focus on what we have done in the field and what are some lessons learned, and hopefully it will help you in your decision making when it comes to digital transformation. So basically, digitalization is a very important pillar for the fund EFSA, European Fund for Southeast Europe, in order to support all of our EFSA partners in their transformation strategy, in order to facilitate innovation, outreach, and growth. Today, I will be focusing on our Path to Digital Transformation program, which was actually launched last year by the EFSA Development Facility, specifically to support MFIs in getting started on their digital journey. So far, we have had 6 institutions from Western Balkans to participate in this program. However, EFSA Development Facility has been supporting many other institutions throughout our region, and you will see on this map on the left-hand corner the countries that we are working in. And I'm really happy that also Andrei is here today with us, the second panelist, and he will tell you how EFSA-DF has supported his institution through the digitalization and digital journey. Another very good example also that I want to mention is in Turkey, whereby EFSA Development Facility has supported a bank to reach out to the underserved clients through the development of new analytical models for new digital products. But today, the focus will be on the program that we are currently having in Western Balkans. This program is guided by the dedicated experts in change management and also digitalization. And MFIs have assessed, through this program, they have assessed their digital readiness. They have identified the key organizational roadblocks, and most importantly, they have developed business strategies along with the digital roadmaps and action plans. The experience has shown that the dedicated experts in change management are very important to drive the digitalization agenda from the beginning. The project that I will be showcasing is actually designed for two things. First is to support greater efficiency for MFIs. Secondly, to assist in building a good grounds or the system for future growth of MFIs. So here on this slide, I will be describing the phases, how the project works. So in the first phase, it's really important to create organizational and digital diagnosis. So this is the 3-day workshop process whereby the consultant comes in, interviews about 20 to 25 key people in the company, usually top and middle management, and they identify the main weaknesses or the points for improvement. And also they identify the life cycle of the company. We have seen a lot of companies, MFIs in the region are in the early premature aging state, so that the people are, for example, not motivated, staff is not motivated, so there's a lot of room organizationally to improve, to acquire the digital strategy and digital agenda. Second phase, the consultant goes in and identifies the gaps. And this is the goal is to identify where the institution currently is and where they want to be and what are the steps in the process. In the phase one, after we identify the weaknesses, the consultants organizes teams of staff who are then working on solving identified weaknesses, which are then inputted into the phase 3 or the digital and organizational strategy. And very important for phase 3 is that the identified and agreed strategy is actually addressing all the weaknesses identified in the phase 1 and in the phase 2 gaps. Phase 4 is very important because without the proper organizational structure within the institution, there will be no change. So organizational structure needs to be adapted to the new strategy. And then finally in phase 5, the consultant identifies the main priority projects for the digital roadmap. So the digital roadmap, I have put here some examples, what we see in the region. First of all, usually the core system needs to be changed or upgraded. After that, very important is the productivity tool, which is the modern working space collaboration tool for staff. Usually what we see, this is Office 365, which is firstly implemented. Number 2, data warehouse is very, very important because without the structured and organized data, there is no need to implement certain applications. So first of all, data warehouse, once that is in place, then institution usually implements the CRM system, document management system, business intelligence system, such as Power BI, for example. Security, very important, especially now that staff is working remotely. So security is something continuously being upgraded. Automated processes, that's one example. And finally, the digital product can then be in the roadmap for implementation. So that would be phase one. In phase two, the consultant can work with the institution to help implementation of these digital roadmap projects, which we have identified in phase one. So, for example, consultant can help the institution identify the proper vendors and proper suitable applications to be implemented. Later on, very important is the organizational change management. So what is happening here, the consultant will help the institution to map the processes, documentation, and data, to work with them also on staff capacity building, especially for the middle management, because the new organization needs to be able to drive the digital change. Some examples here, for example, is the new remuneration system or the bonus system that needs to be put in place, or, for example, setting up of different strategic committees to drive the digital transformation. In the phase three, this is very tailored approach, whereby the consultant can help implement certain digital services, can help to further roll out the strategy, data analytics, or to even set up some KPIs for each organizational department, because currently usually there's only KPIs for sales, but not for other departments. So these are some examples. What are the lessons learned from the field? So yes, the client behavior is changing. There needs to be certain changes into place, and very important is to diagnose. So to analyze where the current institution is, to evaluate the digital maturity, to recognize the changes in the client behavior and new client needs, to identify the gaps, to analyze the current IT system ability and the resources needed to support further growth. So what are the main gaps that we have identified in the region? I have put here a few. First of all, processes are not digitalized. There's a lot of manual reporting, like institutions currently, they make more than 1,000 reports a year, and this can, of course, be reduced with introduction of certain tools. Thirdly, there's a lot of manual customization of reporting. There are weak process mapping within the institutions. Existing database there is a lot of data, but it's not being used for the full potential. And lastly, very underutilized market potential through the digital channels. So there's a lot of room for improvement that we have identified. And one of the main lessons learned is that the organizational change management and digitalization go hand in hand. Another lesson that we learned is also that it's good to have a local or regional consultant who can speak the language and work more easily with the institution. What are the main challenges? I have put here a few. One of the main challenges to digitalizations in our experience is lack of long-term digital strategy and lack of adequate budget for digitalization. Usually what we see, the budget is below 2% of the turnover. Ideally, it should be more towards 10% if the institution is really willing to engage into digitalization transformation. Other than that, there's a lot of resistance to change because we're talking about traditional microfinance institutions. There's a lot of internal lack of capacities by staff when it comes to use of new technologies. And this is, I think, also a regional problem where IT professionals in the regions do not see a microfinance sector as attractive because there's a lot of global working environment now, so they can work globally. So I think this is one of the main challenges also going forward. Then organizational setup of the institution is usually focused on operations rather than on strategic development. And there's a lot of lack of, when it comes to alignment between certain organizational departments. Also, weak business development functions. What we see is lack of, let's say, product management, business development department, project management, to be able to focus more strategically. And lastly, weak IT setup, which means IT departments within the organizations usually are focused on administration, and there is not so much information technology development and business analysts within those departments. Of course, there are external challenges such as non-supportive traditional local regulators who are lagging regulation in things such as digital signature. So in our region, the client still needs to come to the institution to sign the contract. Also, there are some limitations when it comes to cloud technologies. I wanted to bring to you some case studies just to showcase what we see in the region. First one, MFIs. What we see, MFIs do have installed sometimes modern workspace tools, but the employees are not using it. So first lesson learned, once you have something installed, then we need to make sure that people are using it. People need to be trained. People need to be aware. Case number two, we see that some institutions have tools like CRM mapped out. They have chosen the CRM system to use, but unfortunately, after all this work, they find that the core system is not supporting a certain tool. So now the institution needs to decide whether they will go for a new core system, which can be quite expensive, or whether to choose a different CRM tool in this case. Case number three, sometimes we see that institutions do have a digital strategy in place, but these are not implemented. Why? Usually because these are copied strategies and they are not really addressing the organizational challenges and weaknesses in the right manner. Following on to case number four, something quite similar. There are no organizational changes as a precondition to digital strategy, which means there is no ownership when it comes to staff. And yes, this also happens similar to case number three, if strategy has been served and not really been worked on together as a group and then implemented through organizational change, which needs to happen. Case number five, yes, there's a lack of capacity and expertise internally to manage these digital projects, and this will, I think, remain a challenge going forward. What it takes to consider, what needs to be considered for the budget decision. I have put here a few let's say, tools. First one, organization needs to consider the business model that they are currently and what they want to pursue. So this could be the traditional, and in our region, we see we are working mostly with traditional MFIs who still want to remain on the ground, close to their clients, but implement new technologies that will help them grow and serve those clients better and more efficiently. Secondly, the institution needs to consider what is the goal. For example, growth, profitability, capacity building of processes. If, for example, institution identifies growth as a weakness, then they need to focus, for example, on better service to the clients, CRM system, digital products, a call center, and prioritize that within the budget. If, for example, processes are a weakness, then things like loan approval cycle needs to be prioritized, or reporting such as business intelligence system reporting needs to be prioritized when it comes to budget decision. Organizational setup, very important. Change management is required to support desired transition. And of course, current capabilities and know-how need to be well defined before one can prioritize when it comes to digitalization budget. The budget really depends on a lot of things, on size of MFI, level of external maintenance and support, mandates needed for the implementation, decision on whether to use cloud or on-premise solution when it comes to the core system. We see that the cloud core system solutions are preferred over the less expensive on-premise solutions due to their scalability and growth. However, cloud systems may have some regulation restrictions depending on the market. What we see in the market is a lot of Microsoft solutions, and they are actually over 90% of the market share currently in our region. Going forward, FCDF is currently engaging into assessment of the digital maturity for all of our partners. We are now currently engaging a consultant who will be working on this because we want to find out where institutions currently are. And we will use this to provide a tailored consultancy to selective partners to accelerate their digital transformation and to help them grow and reach out to the underserved and underbanked MSME segments. That would be it, and then I will pass it on to Andrei.
Thank you very much, Amra, for your presentation. Yes, I mean, before we go to Andrei, I think this will be completely different presentation because Andrei is coming from the field, and he will indeed present a real case, the experience, moving, to digital platform. And just before that, let me also say a few facts and figures. Maybe we discovered by doing our biannual survey of 156 microfinance institutions, and we found out that 77% of MFIs have digital solutions that support clients in applying, managing, and repaying a loan. But still, 23% have no any digital solution for the client. So I think there is still quite a big gap there. And 58% of MFIs use already credit scoring to assess the repayment capacity of the loan applicants, which are most often in banks and the less often by credit unions. But over half, 58% of the institution supports their clients in learning how to use digital solutions so to access their financial products. The main challenges to digitalization includes low digital capability of MFI clients and high cost of introducing digital solutions. So I think this is the major bottleneck for many microfinance providers that in spite they might go through the process of setting up the digital strategy, they still find difficult to find a tool and then to have a budget to finance such a tool. So maybe in question and answers, Amra can say something about that, how they support such applications or their clients, in approaching this topic and financing. And I think now I give a floor to Andrei, to give his real life experience with the finance and budget needs to run the digital platform. The floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you so much, Pavel. So I'll share my screen. I'll share a few slides. I think the intention here is to address three key areas. I just want to confirm that everyone can see my screen.
Mm-hmm.
You can. Okay, great. So there are three areas that we will cover. One is what has been our journey, right? What have we done so far? Actually, even before that, what was our starting point? What have we done so far, and what's next for us? Then I want to really answer a question which might seem very simple, but what do we even mean by digital transformation? And I will give a few details on what it meant for us. And last but not least, how did we fund it, right? I think that as it was pointed out in the previous presentation, I think this is a challenge. And the good news is that there are a few avenues where you can get support in your digital transition. So before we start, just as a quick introduction from my side, I'm head of product for Omro. Omro runs Omro created and currently runs the digital brand called Filbo. My background is in digital product management. I've been managing digital products for over 15 years in the Central and Eastern Europe, as well as the Middle East for large banks, as well as one of the big four consultant companies. So let's start with our journey, right? What was our starting point? I think as Pavel mentioned, Omro is one of the oldest MFIs in Romania. Omro was founded in 1994. So let that sink in, right? 1994, it's close to 30 years. As of 2019, it was a very traditional microfinance business, only operating in a few counties in northwestern Romania. Our processes were, as you would expect, extremely paper-based, physical signatures in 100% of cases, and as I'm sure you know, mountains upon mountains of printed documents, right? Our processes were quite slow. As Amra was mentioning, I think manual processes is one of the key pain points that an MFI has to address. And in our case, just to have a KPI to gauge that, to gauge the level of manual processes, it took us more than 5 days, sometimes even more than 10 or 15 days to approve a loan, which obviously was not placing us in a good position to serve our customers. So this was the starting point. 3 years later, let's see where we are. So we created a digital brand called Filbo, and we now have national coverage through it. I think there is a myth in a lot of traditional MFIs that okay, we get digital, but our clients are not digital, right? I'll just give you the reality on the ground in Romania. Just slightly less than half of the Romanian population lives in rural areas, right? So let's say roughly half. Smartphone penetration is going to reach 85% in the next 2 years. 85%. Social media penetration is 75%. So a lot of people living in rural areas are already digital through smartphones and through social media. This is a reality that was really crucial in defining our strategy and defining the fact that we wanted to create a digital brand to give us national coverage, right? I think cloud was mentioned as one of the key pillars in Amra's presentation as well. We are actually the first financial institution in Romania. This includes large banks with a core banking system fully in the cloud. We use Microsoft Azure, and we're actually super happy with it because it gives us a lot of speed in terms of deploying new features, and I'll give an actual example of that later on. One of the things that I did not hear in Amra's presentation, and for us it was extremely important, was acquisition and marketing. So today, through our digital marketing efforts and through our digital onboarding processes, we acquire more than 60% of our loans through digital channels. That's a major shift from basically zero 2 or 3 years ago. So digital for us is now the primary origination channel in terms of getting new clients, as well as, by the way, servicing existing clients that come for a second or a third loan, which is way easier now through online channels. We have the first end-to-end digital process for small business lending in Romania, and that's not only the onboarding part, because that's something that we see a lot in the industry, not just in Romania but in Europe as well. when people talk about going digital, they mostly speak about having a web app or a mobile app or a chatbot, and clients can apply online. That's only a very small part of what going digital really means. In our case, it means a lot of automated back office processes, online KYC, electronic signature, and super fast time to approval. Our best approval time was average approval time during a month was 6 hours to approve a loan. So just so you can gauge the huge difference that digital meant for us in terms of going from 10 days for to approve a loan to 6 hours. More than 80% of our credit checks are now automated. We still have so the way we look at it is in microfinance, it's absolutely essential, and I know I'm stating the obvious here, but it's absolutely essential to have that human connection, right, with the client. So what we have done is we have automated all the mundane bureaucratic tasks to give more time to our credit analysts and our people on the ground to really understand the business and really understand the client. So the way we see digital is not to replace human effort, but to eliminate those, let's say, those manual tasks which do not require cognitive effort, such as preparing paperwork, doing some standardized, I don't know, credit bureau checks or things like this. That's all automated, but we give more time to actual conversations between human beings. That's why we use the term digital with a human touch. So we have an omni-channel flow. Just to explain the term, it's clients can apply online themselves if they are digital savvy, but they can also get help from a loan advisor to input the loan in the Filbo platform, right, for non-digital savvy clients. Last but not least, and this is an innovation that was rewarded recently in Romania at the Future Banking Awards, embedded finance. Everything that we offer to clients through our platforms, we have exposed through APIs to third parties. So just to take a real life example, we have integrations with B2B e-commerce players, e-commerce marketplaces, where a small business can buy a product from that e-commerce website with a loan from Filbo directly from the e-commerce website. And our digital platforms and our embedded finance APIs facilitate that. Where are we going? Well, in a nutshell, we are on the path of becoming a neobank for small entrepreneurs. What does that mean? It means we have been over the last couple of months in very close and very good discussions with the National Bank of Romania to obtain an e-money license, which will enable us to offer payments, cards, and what we call value-added services. So that's electronic invoicing, basic accounting, for small entrepreneurs. Basically, we believe our role will be to target two key issues. One is access to finance, which Romania is really suffering on this chapter. So access to finance is number one, and the second pain point is time. Time wasted on bureaucratic activities that eat up a lot of time and effort from small entrepreneurs, instead of allowing them to focus on what matters, which is growing their business. Last but not least, and this is something that we're actually very excited about, and why I was really glad when Pavel invited us to speak in this forum. We've done a lot of work in terms of transforming a traditional MFI into a digital MFI that retains its traditional microfinance roots and retains its social mission in terms of helping small entrepreneurs basically get to the next level, fuel um, or allow small entrepreneurs to hire, to create jobs, to help themselves, their families, and the families of their employees, while at the same time, um, we also really believe we have an active role in educating these clients, educating our clients, educating small entrepreneurs on how digital tools can really help their business save time, and eventually grow their business. So we are in the process of turning what all of the lessons that we have learned and all of the services that we have built, of turning our technology itself in a product that we can sell to other MFIs who perhaps do not have the same budgets that we have, or the same people that we have, or the same resources that we had, but they can consume these services with a very simple and transparent and low cost monthly subscription package. So technology as a service, if you will. Now, what do we even mean by digital transformation? And I think Amra in her presentation touched upon many things, such as CRM, data warehouse, core banking systems, cloud infrastructure. As I was saying previously, what people usually mean when they refer to digital transformation is this part here, the top of the iceberg, right? Oh, I have a digital process to onboard clients, therefore I am digital. That's the easy part, to be honest. It's a lot of work, but that's the easy part. The hard part is what's below the surface. It's all the back office infrastructure, all the automated credit checks, online KYC, cloud, marketing, in digital marketing, how you communicate with clients, so digital brand. All of these things are important. We really wanted to highlight two, which in our opinion are crucial: people and culture. Let's start with people. I'll give you a statistic which might surprise many of you. In Omro, we have as many product owners and business analysts and UX designers and developers as we have sales officers. I do not know of any MFI in our region who can claim that. But this was crucial to our success so far. Having digital competencies within the company has been enormously important for us. Now, it has also been challenging. As Amra was mentioning, MFIs are not seen by people with digital skills, such as developers, product owners, and so on, are not seen as an attractive employer. So that is a challenge. Creating a culture to attract these people has been a challenge, and I think we're actually quite proud that we managed to do that, and we managed to attract a lot of talent. And how we managed to do that? Well, through our culture. We look at let's say modern digital theories such as agile or lean startup. We look at them as our internal Bible, if you will. So we are agile 100% in terms of principles, and that's not just the product development team, that's the entire company. And I mean, honestly, I could speak hours and hours about this, but just to give you one indication of what we're doing is, or one measurement is speed. Last year, we released a new feature in production once every 5 days. Once every 5 days. I do not know even large banks who have this speed.
Andre,
Yes,
sorry to interrupt you, but we have really time limited. So, I mean, if you could come to the conclusion somehow,
yes,
and
yes,
present this important information in terms of
sure.
financial,
Yeah,
resources you have to, reserve for this implementation. Yeah, let's try. And I don't know if you want still, to ask these questions you have ready. we can do that, but we don't have much time to prolong.
Sure, sure. So I'll be quick. I think, as Amra was mentioning, getting financial support and getting a budget for your digital transformation efforts is key. We were lucky to have three really important partners that supported our digital transformation efforts. One is EIF. So under the EASY program, we took a capacity building loan, which was close to 1.3 million euros. It wasn't 100% used for digital transformation. So there was a portion of it used for branch expansion and creating a mobile sales force, but the bulk of it was used for our digital transformation efforts. It included a new core banking system, the entire Filbo platform, both front office and back office. This is a very advantageous offering from the EIF because it has a 10-year tenor. You do have a condition to spend the full amount in the first 3 years, but then you can amortize it over 10 years. So it was really helpful and a key point for us, a key support point for us. We are one of the lucky MFIs that got support from Finance in Motion, from EFSE, a technical assistance to build our mobile app, to build the backend services on our back office platform. And honestly, I can highly recommend working with EFSE in general, and in particular in terms of digital transformation efforts. They were extremely valuable partner for us, an extremely valuable partner for us. Last but not least, we were very lucky to have the Helenos Fund as an equity investor right at the start, at the onset of the pandemic, a very difficult time, but they have supported our digital transformation plans from the start, and they continue to be a very important investor for us. So, as you can see here, the way we funded our digital transformation efforts was through a debt route, through a TA route, and through an equity route as well. So it's a combination of things. Now, Pavel, can we take just one more minute to ask the two questions? And I think you have already prepared them, a poll.
Yes. Okay. So let me publish now the first one. So please, we would appreciate participants to answer this first poll and the questions you see on the screen. Would you be more inclined to build your digital solution from scratch or buy it from a third party? You have these answers, buy or build. So let's give just a few seconds to answer the people this poll, and then we have also other questions which we would like to ask, and basically we are approaching the end of our session. Yeah, not much people are voting. You are still a lot of you online, so in this session. So I would appreciate, but the buy is the winning option. Obviously, the internal capacities are limited, and finding probably the right, human resource capacity is not so easy at this moment on the market. All right, so let me go to the second poll. And this is if Omro were to sell its Filbo technology platform as a service built as a monthly subscription. Would you be interested to hear more about this offering?
So I think this is a really important checkpoint for us as well, because Pavel did mention that MFC would be happy to support us with a separate session where we can discuss more about the technology platform, and I think that would be quite valuable for a lot of MFIs. So
okay, so I see some people are voting yes. I don't see anybody voting no. So I think definitely there is potential and there is an interest from the participating institutions to get more insight what it takes to have your platform implemented. All right, so I think I can then conclude that we thank you, the participants, for finishing these polls, and thank you, Andre, for his presentation.
Thank you
And
as well.
we will definitely be inviting Andre for more detailed presentation later on, and we will let you all know about this presentation, where he will be able to explain details of this product, of this platform. And since we are really getting to the end of the session, I see some people are applying for the question. I don't know if you have really very quick question, but we have maybe last 5 minutes which we need to close the session. Meanwhile, I will also publish the poll for other microfinance purposes. How did the session match your needs? So please respond to those as well. And I will now ask Boriana Stojkova. She was the first in line to ask a question. So if you would like to ask a question, please go ahead. Boriana, are you with us? Because you wanted to ask question already at the very beginning, but I didn't want to stop the presentations. So no. So Cesar, I mean, I'm giving you the floor now to be able to ask your question. If you have any issues, please put it to the chat, and then we will try to ask your questions. Meanwhile, Amra, if you have any real life experience from the financing of this digital process, which you were showing us, how do you approach it? You might maybe share also some of your conclusions or information.
Yeah, we're quite happy to support any of our partners or current or potential EFSA partners who we are working on the investment side, and we're quite happy to talk to them one-on-one and support any tailored specific needs in digitalization that they might need, or to support any ideas that might come from their side. So it's really a tailor-based approach, which of course is approved by our internal committee, but we're happy to support and talk one-on-one with each institution on this topic.
Okay, thank you very much. So yeah, unfortunately our time is up, and I would like to thank you both speakers, and wish them well for the future success with your digital platform, Andre, and success, Amra, with your as technical assistance to the financial intermediaries. And I'm looking forward to, for some other opportunities to meet and present your activities.
Definitely.
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
so much.